Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. What an interesting day today, CPI data release. That will be highly interesting. And we need to be aware that any movement sort of in the time around the CPI data release, maybe an hour before to 2 hours afterwards, can just be a short-term, can just be maybe, related to short-term volatility, which might not be long lasting. But depending on the outcome, of course, it will shake markets up and it could push the market in one or, well, in a certain scenario. If you're sitting on the fence between two scenarios, this CPI data could push the market into one of them. So it will be a very interesting day. I think what I mentioned already yesterday, the White House obviously announced that the inflation is probably going to be very high, whatever that means. I personally expect something definitely above 8.8%. Could be higher. Yeah, it could be higher depending on how high it is. It will have a negative impact on the markets. Now, what I don't know, and nobody knows that, what has already been leaked through and what is already priced in. Because this move down shortly before the release of the numbers is quite interesting and could really tell us a little bit about that some of this might already be priced in, which means that if the numbers are released and they might be a bit higher than originally anticipated or expected, that we might only see a little bit of volatility, but not really a major shakeup or a negative impact on the market because it has already been priced in. But that is what nobody knows. That is just sort of to prepare you for the case that we might not see a lot of movement, yeah? But normally what you would expect if numbers are higher, and if numbers are higher than expected, that you would see a negative impact on the market. If they are lower, which I don't think, they are not yet, I think in the next month, somewhere in the next few months, we'll probably see a reduction in the inflation, not a negative inflation, but a reduction in the increase, which means we could see here a positive impact on the market. But let's start with the bullish scenario. Again, not my primary expectation, and I mentioned that in the last few videos, and yesterday I explained it in a bit more detail due to the sell-off here. I expressed my concern that we could drop below this ascending trend line, which we have done, which in effect, again, is a more, lets us lean even more towards the bearish scenario. Here, nevertheless, I want to show you the bullish one because it's still possible. We moved up in a wave 1 here. Towards the 21st of June, we came down in a 2. We had another wave 1 up. Yeah, we pushed a little bit higher, pushed a little bit about this resistance zone, didn't break it substantially, did never reach here the 23K area. I always mention that this is the area we need to break for more sustainable breakouts. Until that happens, we are in a selling area and we cannot make the bullish scenario the primary one. From here, then we moved down quite strongly here. So I already expressed yesterday, and if you want to see, because there are few scenarios are possible here, but if you want to see a few possible scenarios that are possible here, check out my video from yesterday. Other than that, just a quick update here that if we're getting very, very close to that swing low here at 18,600. Now, if that is taken out, there is one more possibility left for a bullish scenario, which I find very likely, this possibility. As long as we stay above 18.6K, it is still possible, but I would give it maybe a 25% probability, okay? And below that, I think it would reduce to 20%, the bullish one, okay? And then obviously, if we go below 17.6K, then we can look at a support level around 16.9. If we then go down lower, there will be other support, and I have to look at this in a bit more detail, probably in the later video today. I will be able to give you some other support levels below 16.9K, below that 78.6% FIB level, but I need some time to look into them. Very important will be the 10.9K level, or 10.6 it is. The 10.6K level is the 88.7% FIB level. Now, I don't think we're going to drop that far. I think if we see another low, which I primarily still have to expect, I think first major support will be 16.9K. Any level below that, I will update you later today. So here the bearish scenario, this one is working out. I showed you two bearish scenarios yesterday. Showed you this one here. This is currently working out. We're still waiting here for a wave 4 retracement. Hasn't happened yet. As I mentioned yesterday, best indication that this sort of wave 5 and wave 3 is complete, that we can get into a wave 4 retracement, would be that we are breaking out of this trend line here. The problem now that we have is that we broke below this channel. We broke out of the bear flag, in my opinion. Yeah, let me know if you have another opinion, but I think we broke out of this bear flag. And if you zoom out, you see the bear flag a little bit clearer. So that would confirm this initial scenario. Both scenarios still possible though. We had here this one here where I expected a WXY pattern, where we bounced off here within the channel, moved to the downside, we hit the lower support of the channel, and we can now either make a wave 4 retracement, a wave 5 down to finish off wave 3 in yellow, and then we have another wave 4 retracement in yellow, maybe retest that bear flag from below and then move down in a wave 5. This is sort of what I primarily expect. Or if we move higher, and depending on when this wave 5 will finally be finished, it takes quite a bit of time. I think it will come a bit lower now. How it's, maybe a little bit, maybe to 19 point. Well, no, it has reached the 19.2k pretty much, hasn't it? Because it's this swing low here. So if we assume wave 5 here is finished, what we would expect is now finally a retracement in a wave 4. The market has been very weak, weaker than you would normally expect it in such a move down, which again just fuels the bearish scenario. We would expect here in a wave 4 a move to either the 23.6, well, between the 23.6% and the 50% level, so between 19.9k and 20.6. If we go above 20.6, again, it would probably not be a wave 4 anymore. It would then be unlikely that this particular scenario is working out. What I would then think is that we have here the extended correction that I mentioned in yesterday's video, a WXYXZ pattern, where we will have another corrective wave up before we then start this yellow sell-off. Okay, so it would just delay it by one leg. I think the fact that we broke out of this bear flag yesterday to the downside confirms for now this scenario that I had on the chart anyway. But I think the WXYXZ is something that many people don't expect, so we'll see if that works out, because oftentimes things work out that many people don't expect, but we are prepared on this channel for both. But primarily I would expect this one here. So I will need to see that wave 4 retracement here at some point. Best evidence that this is starting is if you draw this trend line on your chart, that a breakout above that trend line would indicate it, that wave 4 is starting, and then a wave 5 down. Bear in mind that wave 4 is very weak anyway, and overall, especially as long as we are here in this descending trend line, if you follow this descending trend line, we are in a very strong downtrend anyway. And it will be interesting how today's CPI data release will shake this all up a little bit. This move down here in the last couple of days was very strong. And it remains that we need to, in this bearish scenario as well, we need to break below here the 18.9k, the 18.6k levels. And I think then the way is free to make a lower low against 17,500. What is striking though is that we really broke this bear flag to the downside, and we're currently retesting it. And it will be interesting to see if we are reversing here and really head to the downside. Okay, and that is currently here my view on Bitcoin. I will update you later today. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.